All right, good evening, everybody. All right, so once again, um, I never thought that this would still be, talked about to this level. Hang on a sec. So, okay, sell your fund is, there we go. This isn't about sell your fund, by the way. I've already done that chat. So, my channel that sucks. Because I don't have that many subscribers. So, yeah, help me smash to 1 million. Yeah, motherfuckers. Anyhow, let's get into it. So, a lot of people are talking, and there's also, a lot of, you know, conspiracy theories going around. And I covered this in a few prior videos, regarding the similarities between this and the assassination or the murder of Brian Thompson. I don't think either one, in the technical sense, is considered an assassination. Because neither one were political figures. A lot of people say Charlie Kirk was no, he wasn't. He was just somebody who likes to debate people. Now, I'm not going to get into whether you like the guy, whether you don't. I'm not going to get into the whole, people celebrating it. There's enough channels doing that. What I am going to do right now is I'm going to play just a little bit of clip. It's from a comedian, Leonardo Joni. Yeah, that's what my computer actually works. There we go. Who shot Charlie Kirk? All right. I knew you'd rather watch her video than mine because she's a very pretty Albanian comedian. So let's play.
And then if you're going to confess to your dad and your dad turns you in, why are you out the person? Because I didn't watch a lot of Charlie's videos. I just watched some of the, highlights when he'd be at TPUSA talking about how we all have to support our greatest ally. And I was like, fuck this guy, right? But, now I'm going to play some of these videos too that are going to show you the things that I've seen in hindsight. And it made me feel pretty awful, especially recognizing that he really was a good guy who believed in what he was preaching. This is really important. He may have been wrong about things, but he believed in it, and he believed that it was going to be for the betterment of everyone and his country. When he found out that he was wrong about those things, he had the courage enough to start changing his mind and changing his tune, and that's why they cut him down.
And this is no longer just speculation. First of all, the evidence that shows that Epstein was a creation of either Mossad, Israeli intelligence, American intelligence, Saudi intelligence, or maybe he was just a hired gun. Maybe he was just the guy that countries would go to and park a couple $100 million and say, hey, can you get one of the members of the royal family with a 13-year-old so we can get them to do what we want to do? Members of Congress are actively being blackmailed. The Epstein playbook is being used on a daily basis.
Okay, I'm not sure when that was taken, but I think in one of my videos, if I didn't, then I apologize. I did watch a clip where he said, those files definitely should be released. At some, I think it was a couple months, before the shooting took place.
Jeffrey Epstein was not a financier. He was not a hedge fund manager. Jeffrey Epstein was a key player in a multi-decade blackmail operation against the most powerful people on the planet. I gotta be careful the way I say this. They're gonna try to ethnically cleanse Gaza. I mean, I don't use that term lightly, okay? They're talking about basically removing 2.5 million people from there.
Let's go ahead and take a look at the official story. The official story says, we had this trans Tifa adjacent shooter. Now, he wasn't actually trans himself.
That's correct.
Apparently, he came from a very conservative family, but he
Absolutely
went to
correct.
college for one semester, and he was radicalized in college during that semester, and he has a live-in roommate, boyfriend who's a furry trans. Like, I think they're just throwing the whole kitchen sink at him. Okay. So he drives to the campus in one outfit. He changes his clothes. He leaves with no gun on foot. Now, this one, we're not sure because we do see him jump off the roof and it seems like he's carrying a bag with him. What's hard is like, we don't see him carrying a gun up the roof. Like they show that video of him kind of limping and they're like, he had it in his pants. But
how in the fuck can you fucking fit a rifle in your pants and limp up a roof? I mean, that's what I'm trying to grasp. But, you know, then again, I don't know the layout of that campus, so anything's possible, I guess.
But then he's not limping when he's climbing the stairs. He's bending fully. So I don't know how he got the gun up there. Anyway, he leaves with gun on foot. He ditches the gun. He changes back.
It was a rare type of firearm. Could it have been collapsible? You know, like a AK-47? Who knows? If you're a gun expert, let me know this specific. I think it was a Mauser type of rifle.
Into the outfit he had before. He goes back to his car. He drives 250 miles home, confesses to his dad, turns himself in. Now he's denying guilt. And like Clint here says, yeah, okay, makes perfect sense. Of course, doesn't make any sense. You know, there's a lot of shady stuff going on here. They're saying that he went on his Discord channel and he immediately started bragging about it. So tell me how someone who commits this murder gets away. Really, like, if you want glory, right? Because he's gone on his Discord channel and then he brags to his fellow trans Tifa, like, I did it, we got him, right? If you wanted the glory, why wouldn't you just wait there to get arrested? Really, you did it. Here I am. I did it, right? If you wanted to escape and not have anybody know, why would you go back into your Discord group and confess? Why would you tell your dad and confess? That doesn't make sense.
She's on point. I'm going to pause this, and I'm actually going to take a look and see whether he's pleading guilty or not. So let me just do that for a second. Let me just open up, see if I can find anything regarding it. I know I've been seeing a little bit more stuff about Mangione resurface, but we'll get into that in a little bit. All right, let me type in Tyler Robinson. Tyler Robinson death. No, that's probably a different person. All right, so let's see. Tyler Robinson chat, just see what pops up. Just bear with me, my okay. Let's see. No, I don't want to fucking. So yeah, that much like Mangione. I'm going to share this window. All right, so yeah, once again, that much like with the, with Luigi Mangione, they were seeking the death penalty. I think they're still seeking the death penalty. Charged with murder. And so this one, I know the right, or let me phrase that, the left is probably not going to like this. But, again, who knows? I mean, it's all hearsay, based on what the media is putting in front of us. Let's see what the New York Post says. No, I don't want to read any of these. More prograde, yep. Could face firing squad. So that's very compelling right there. I mean, again, it doesn't prove anything regarding his political beliefs. Because he didn't vote, in over 2 years. So, no, I'm going to dismiss that shit. But I want to see what he's pleading. That's what I want to see. Because I know Mangione, he's pleading not guilty. So, turned in by his father. So, and this is what really doesn't make sense. So let's take a look at this. Look under my keyboard. And his partner. So, yep. Homesick and then sick on September 10th. So, he said he was at homesick. This is just not making any real sense. You know. Okay, a slight side note. Trump opened a national holiday on him, Charlie Kirk. Didn't he say there were too many non-working holidays? Let's get back into the topic here. Okay, so that's the transgender partner. So, and that's the gun that allegedly used. So it isn't collapsible, I don't believe. So let's scroll on and see what he's actually pleading. Okay, so it's saying that he already confessed on Discord. So, yeah. So, no offense to the left side. Take from this what you will. Now I'm going to see what he's actually pleading. Just bear with me. My computer's on its last leg, so that's obviously something that I'm going to have to work into my budget here. And again, it's probably not going to cooperate. There we go. So let's see what he's actually... No, I don't want to fucking go 6 months. Firing a single bullet. And, you know, I saw a snippet of one video, like, you know, why wasn't there an exit wound? I don't know how powerful the rifle is. But... You know, and there could have been, you just couldn't see it from the video, you know. I wouldn't recommend watching the video. So, protective order, yep, that doesn't surprise me, makes sense. So, let me just see where's, yeah, they both had bullet engravings. You know, so yeah, there's definitely, it's basically like, you know, some of the parallels between, you know, the Lincoln and Kennedy assassinations. So what I'm trying to find is, what is he pleading? So that's what I want to see. Robinson defense. Let me see if I can. Kyle Robinson defense. See what he's pleading. Okay, so he's currently, so there's no real information that I can see. He does not have a permanent attorney. All right, so as I'm showing you my Craigslist ad for my geo tracker, just stop sharing that. Let me reshare this one.
And then if you're going to confess to your dad and your dad turns you in, why are you denying it now? So something's not adding up. Something doesn't make any sense. We also had this guy who was there right after, and he started talking, and then you can see he ends up getting interrupted. I'll go ahead and play this for us.
I was standing from probably the third row in the bottom. I saw him, I heard the shot ring out. I looked to my left, and then I looked over to my right. I saw him slump over in his chair forward. He slumped over. He had blood coming from the left side of his neck down his shirt, and he slumped over and he was carried off. Get off me!
So the angle actually showed the right side, but
So we're not really sure why these guys interrupted him. It could be that they're like, hey, don't talk, you don't want to be a target, or maybe he was saying something he wasn't supposed to be saying. And nothing he said seems to contradict the video that we saw. But another part of this story that's not adding up is that we had this guy, George Zinn, who got arrested. That was the first guy that we thought was the shooter, right? Because he got arrested on the scene, and there was that first video where he's being...
Yeah, they did have two other suspects that they arrested and released because they didn't have any evidence.
Arrested, and he's like, I retain my right to silence or whatever. And then as he's walking away, he's saying, please shoot me. So let's listen to that.
We don't know if it's him or not.
Okay, so he creates the perfect distraction to let whoever the culprits were get away. Someone explained to me why somebody who didn't do it or doesn't know who did it would be saying, I did it, please shoot me. That's very weird. Now, what you don't know about this George Zinn guy is that he also was supposedly a witness to the 9/11 attacks. He made a video where he described seeing the planes hit the towers. And then he got arrested in 2013 for emailing a bomb threat joke to the Salt Lake City Marathon shortly after the Boston bombing.
Okay, yep. I do remember that Boston bombing very vividly.
Okay, and now he gets detained as a person of interest. Like, how many crises can one person actually be involved in?
All you conspiracy theorists out there, I don't want you going crazy, but what are the odds that George Zinn, the patsy that was arrested at the Charlie Kirk assassination, also saw 9/11? He saw the planes fly into the buildings and called that in and reported it. And then he also called in a fake terrorist attack at the Boston Marathon bombing, and just so happened to get arrested at Charlie Kirk's event. So Tess Keyser, she responded to this tweet and she says, Grok is a guy really involved in all three events like this post claims. And Grok fact checks it and goes, based on a review of multiple sources.
I guess Grok is something that does fact checking on X. Well, I don't use X anymore, so.
George Zinn was a witness to the 9/11 attacks, and he described seeing planes hit the towers. He was also arrested in 2013 for emailing a bomb threat joke to the Salt Lake City.
Okay. So it's everything that I read to you. So it's like, we still don't have this piece tied in. Okay, Trans Tifa did it. Sure. What was this guy doing there? Why is he at 9/11 and we'd say the Charlie Kirk assassination in my lifetime are two of the most traumatic attacks on American soil that we've ever experienced, right? I would say the Charlie Kirk assassination could be on par with the level of trauma that was induced by 9/11 because we watched this up close, high definition video of a man getting shot in the neck and bleeding out. I mean, it was horrific.
I am not immune to actually having to see somebody die. Now, in a video I did a while back, I saw the aftermath. What happened, when somebody got stabbed. I was hanging out with a buddy of mine, just chilling, chatting, whatever. And I'm getting up and getting ready to go home and do my thing, right? And fucking 200 feet away on the main street on Route 1, there's a guy laying on the fucking ground bleeding out. And again, because it wasn't with a gun, you're not going to hear a bang. And there was nobody yelling, screaming at each other. It was just boom. And, it kind of makes you wake the fuck up and be like, you got to definitely be aware of your surroundings. So clearly, whatever scuffle that was, that was just clearly like fucking ambush style. Anyhow, enough about that.
Horrible. And if your reaction to watching someone get shot in the neck and bleed out is to say anything other than, oh my God, and feel grief and horror, you've really gone very far into the dark, demonic side of existence. And I would go get an exorcism or something, because that your mind has been so completely warped that you could see another human being get assassinated in such a gruesome way and feel joy because he said things you didn't believe in.
Okay, that's, again, that's definitely touching base on the people doing that and then getting fired. Anyhow, I'm going to cut the stream a little short, because, again, I could sit here, play her video. I mean, I posted a link in, the chat. It'll probably disappear when I end the stream. But yeah, I know you'd rather watch her video than mine. But, let me know. Do you think this is, a clear-cut case of, they got the guy? Or do you think there's going to be, a lot more to uncover, much like with the shooting of Brian Thompson? And obviously, the big difference between the two was, it took a lot longer for them to get a suspect. Well, one, they didn't offer enough money right away. I mean, $10K, is that going to get anybody to fucking talk? And then the FBI bumps up to $60K by adding in their own $50K, and then, sure enough, somebody talks. And, I'm not going to say her name, because I'm sure enough people have already been doing that, and I don't want to be, don't want to have that riding on me. But you get my point. It was a McDonald's worker who got fired. And I don't even think she got the fucking payout. Now, allegedly, from what I heard, I think the father actually denied the payout because that was a $100K reward. Now, I'm not sure if that's true or not. In fact, before I end the stream, the reward. See what I can. Oh shit! He fucking did reject it. So wow. So he donated it to Charlie Kirk's family. So again, that just shows you that Tyler Robinson came from a very, very deep conservative. A deep conservative. Like he didn't take the money and to donate. Yep, they're all saying that. Yeah, I'm not going to show you the screen, but you can type it up yourself. So he's actually. Let me see what the week actually says. Because it was 100,000. All right, so the FBI had their $100,000 reward, and I guess a billionaire, Bill Ackman, decided to do $1 million. Not the father pledging to donate the reward money. So he allegedly received. Actually, let me fucking share this. This will be very, very interesting. Let me share that. Window. Fact check. And yes, I'm going to close that fucking ad. So, yep, the FBI had their reward, somebody. And then other people were offering $25K each. So that was a total around $1.5 million. But there's also no confirmation that he would actually be paid this amount. quoted Matt. So I guess people are just saying, people are just gonna fucking say shit just to get a buzz. So in fact, let me click on a different one. Hindustan. Okay, that doesn't sound official. Okay, then the rest of it is just. Let's see here. Times of India. I don't know why fucking. Total Pro Sports of the Week. The Economic Times. So let's see what this says. So what it said in here, let's see what date this. 1 week ago. That was 1 week ago. So yeah, he turned his father in. So yeah, it was about a little over $1 million. We'll just say $1 million just to keep it simple. So they were actually, yeah, so neither Matt Robinson said that he will donate. He's a registered Republican. So this one is saying that he may have gotten the reward. End his life rather. Yikes. So that's a whopping. I love how they fucking. All right, so it looks like I'm not finding. Let me see what this one says. 9 days ago, 7 days ago. So, yeah, there really isn't a whole bunch of information regarding that, except for this fact check. September 16th is now. So there's no real evidence. So it's just people just saying shit. So there's actually no confirmation that even he's going to even get the money anyways. So, it goes to show you really can't believe everything that you see. And that's matter for the geo-tracker again. You always can't believe everything I see, but this is just fucking taking, way more twists and turns, as it goes on. And, I can never understand the logic of, wanting to get caught if you do something that drastic, taking out a CEO or shooting a debater, and then just to get caught. I can never understand that logic. So there's going to be, a lot more stuff, to uncover. And again, with both cases, they're going to have to prove, not really prove, but they're going to have to convince a jury, on how one was able to locate the exact, the exact coordinates, of either target. Anyhow, I'm actually going to cap the stream for now. I'll talk to you.